Maybe you're watching this video because you were once invited to a baby shower and wanted to crochet a blanket, but you disregarded the idea because it seemed altogether too complicated. Well, don't turn this video off because I've got the most simple and easy baby blanket pattern to share with you today. It's very, very practical skill when it comes to things to do in your free time, because when you get invited to a baby shower, if you've got a girl and a boy colored blanket in your closet already made, it makes preparing for a baby shower or making a gift for someone so much simpler. This girl blanket was just crocheted out of a patterned yarn, making it look just gorgeous at the end result, and I bordered it with this beautiful green yarn. There's so many options with the granny square as to what you can make your blanket look like. This boy's blanket I striped because it's so easy to change color with this pattern. It'll just blow you away. So you have lots of different options with the granny square blanket, and that's what we're going to learn how to do today. So let's get started. Alright, in order to start the granny square blanket, we're going to do a simple little knot in order to put a hoop on our hook, a loop on our hook. We make this X right here. I bring it around and then I hold it with my thumb, so we just went around our fingers. I'm going to reach through and grab this piece on the top left and then bring it through all the others, and that closes up very easily. So now we're going to chain anywhere from 6 to 7, and it doesn't really matter how many you do with this blanket. It's flexible. It just can't be more than 8 and can't be less than 6. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. And as you use different yarns for this pattern over and over, you may get a feel for how big you want this loop to be that you're making. I'm going to do 7 just because I want to. I get the feeling this yarn's works a little bit more tightly with the granny square. So I've got 7 chain stitches here, and I'm going to circle back around to the end where I started, and I'm going to do a slip stitch into the very end as far back as I can get in order to turn this into a hoop. So the way you do that is you grab this yarn and pull it through the hole you just went through, and then without yarning over, you pull back through the last hoop. So now we connected and made a little loop, because this blanket works in a round. You go round and round, it turns into a square, but we have to start with a circle. So the way to do this is we're going to start with the pattern that throughout your blanket we'll call the special corner, and that is this pattern. You go 1, 2, 3 with your chain, and you'll see this pattern reappear, so don't worry about it. And then you double crochet 2. So assuming that you know the double crochet stitch, we're going to move on. But if you don't know that stitch, you can leave this video and go find the stitch on my channel that teaches, the video on my channel that teaches how to do the double crochet. So we're going to yarn over, go into our main hole. We're going to do 2 double crochets. And this creates what throughout your blanket your special corner will look like, but we'll get to that later. So don't overcomplicate things in your mind. After that, chain 2 like I just did, and then we're going to make our next corner. We're going to double crochet 1, double crochet 2, and then double crochet 3. And that's, see, now we've created a corner here, and we've got 2 sides, so we're creating a square as we go. I'm going to chain 2 to make our next corner, and then starting the next part of our square, I'm going to double crochet 3 again. Okay, we've now double crocheted 3, and now we're going to chain 2, and we're going to close up this square by doing exactly what we did these last 2 spots. We're going to double crochet 1, double crochet 2, and double crochet 3. Okay. Alright, now in order to close up this square, because we've got a gap here at the corner, we're going to work a special corner, and that basically means what we did under here. We're going to chain 2, then I'm going to stick the hook in this general area and do a slip stitch, which means just basically a connector stitch. So I'm sticking my hook in, I'm yarning over and coming through, and then I pull back through the last hoop. So after that, you chain 3, and this is sort of like making a half corner, and you'll see what I mean in a second. But these 3 chains count for 1 double crochet, which means we need to do 2 double crochets in the hole we just created with a slip stitch in order to have a half corner. Now the reason I call it a half corner is because once you get going, each corner is you're going to put 6 double crochets in each of these corners as you get to the hole. And the special corner is basically like a new level. You're creating yourself a new level to work around, because once you get around and close your last square, you need to move up and come out. So I basically just created a half corner, and then I'm going to work from there by moving right onto the next corner because that's the only hole that exists. And I'm going to do 6 total double crochets. So first I do 3, and then in between the first 3 and the second 3, this is just the way you do a corner, you chain 2. So I have 3, I chained 2, and now I'm doing another 3 double crochets. Okay, so we just did a corner, chain 1 to finish it, and we created another hole, but as you can see, the hole we created isn't going to be a corner hole. So the next time we come around, we'll have a special corner to work, a regular hole to work, and in each regular hole you put 3 double crochets, and then we'll have another corner to work, which is just 6 double crochets. As you can see, I've almost completed our square. We've done 3 regular corners, and I'm back around to the special corner. And now we're going to work the special corner just like we did before. But what you need to know is that before each special corner, you do 3 double crochets just like normal in the hole that appears right before your special corner. And that's because that creates the other half of your corner, the other 3 double crochets for your corner. So I've chained 1 since the last corner. You always chain 1 in between each hole. And I'm going to work 3 double crochets in this hole, just like any other hole. 1, 2, 3. Now, we're going to do what we did underneath right here for the special corner, and you do this every time you get here. You chain 1, 2, you reach in here with a slip stitch, you pull through, and pull through again, and then you chain 3. And now remember, that counts as one of your double crochets. And then you're going to do 2 double crochets in the hole you just created. So there's your special corner again. So the easiest way to move on is going to be to see the pattern that from now on you'll only add more holes to the sections in between the corners, but you're always going to have the same 4 corners. We're going to work this hole with 3 double crochets in it because this becomes just the regular hole in the middle, and then we're going to work our corners around until we get to the special corner. So since this hole's not a corner, after my special corner I chain 1, and then I move on to this hole, and I'm only going to do 3 double crochets in it. 1, 2, 3. So that's what normal holes look like. Always chain 1 in between a hole, and then we're moving on to the corner. And you already know how to do corners. You double crochet 3, and then you chain 2, and then you double crochet 3. So this is really a simple and easy pattern because every hole that is not a corner, you simply put 3 double crochets in, and then you move on to the next hole. And the next round, when we get around to this exact same spot again, we'll have twice as many holes here in the middle. We'll have 2 holes actually instead of 1, and the next time you'll have 3 instead of 1. You just create more holes and then you gradually get bigger and bigger. So we just did a corner, a regular corner, and chain 1 between each hole, and we're moving on to the next regular hole. And regular holes, you know how to do it. 3 double crochets. Whoop. I'm going to try that again. 3 double crochets. 1, 2, 3. Okay, so chain 1, and I'm going to next work this corner and then this corner, and then we'll be back around to our special corner, and I think you're probably beginning to pick up on this pattern. Okay, now we're back around to this special corner again, and we're going to work that one last time. You just have to put 3 double crochets into the hole directly before the special corner. 1, 2, 3. It's sort of like the second half of your corner. Again, I chain 2. I use a slip stitch or connector stitch to connect this by sticking my hook in, yarn over and pull through, and then again pull through that last stitch. Now instead of continuing my special corner like I would in a regular round, we're going to pretend for a second that you're at the end of your blanket, that it's humongous, and that you're ready to cast off. All you have to do is snip this yarn at about 4 or 5 inches, and then yarn over and pull it through your hole until it's snug and tight. And then all you have to do is, for this end and for your tail end at the end, take one of those big fat tapestry needles you can buy at local craft stores, thread your yarn through it, then weave it until it's out of sight just a little bit. You only have to weave it in about an inch or two, and then you snip off the excess and you don't have any remaining tails. So I hope that was helpful and simple, and it's one of the easiest patterns you'll find out there for a baby blanket. So I hope you'll pick it up and just crochet away until you've got humongous baby blankets. Enjoy!